Hello, everyone, and welcome to Recurrent. We're going to try something different today. We're going to do something that I'm calling Recurrent Playlist. And this playlist is going to be from a group of albums by the Moody Blues, one of my favorite bands, but not particularly an era that people think of as the best of their catalog. Most people are very much into the Core 7, which is the earlier albums from Days of Future Past to Seventh Sojourn. I decided to do 1986 to 2003 because that is the era that a lot of people think of as the worst era. Let's be honest, this show might just be for me. But my argument is that there is some really exceptionally good work here, and but you just have to figure out where it is. These albums might not be 100% successful albums as far as if you compare them to Days of Future Past, A Question of Balance, things like that, where you really feel like they're really strong albums from start to finish. During this era, you get to where the certain band members really shine and get better. Certain band members' output gets worse. Certain band members are missing in action, and and another reason why I decided to start in 1986 is because I consider the era, and I meant to bring these CDs up here, but I forgot. I consider the era of 1981 to 1983, specifically Long Distance Voyager and the present, to be a cut above what happened from 1986 and beyond. And so this would have been a really long playlist if I would have included those albums. So I'm gonna go through these songs. It's 15 songs, an hour and 14 minutes. And I'll put the playlist down in the description below, and then you guys can, if you stick with me through the whole thing, you can make it yourselves and give me your feedback on it. So what we're going to start with is The Other Side of Life, 1986. This album was produced by Tony Visconti. I have talked about this record before on Sea of Tranquility on the album review show. This album it has a very unique sound to it. It's very much of the time. My biggest complaint about it is that it's got a very kind of standard drum sound, which sounds to me, when I was in college, my roommate used to make music. He had a keyboard rig and a Fostex 4-track recorder and a drum machine. And I want to say it was the Roland TR 808 or 909, one of those. And it had a row of buttons at the bottom, and you could just push. It would be like, it was programmable, obviously, and then a lot of capability of that machine. But it also had buttons that you could just push that were like snare, hi-hat. And so and when you push those buttons, they made a very distinctive sound of the Roland. And the cymbal crashes on this record sound like somebody just walked up to the Roland and pushed crash. And so I would like to give Tony Visconti credit for making a really cool sounding record and for good sequencing and all that kind of stuff. But the drum sound, I just have a really hard time making my peace with it. And it really only happens with this album, the follow-up Sur La Mer, and about half of this one. And when they get away from using that sound, I think things pick up a little bit. But the first thing I'm going to talk about is Your Wildest Dreams. Excellent song, fantastic Patrick Moraz keyboard intro, great melody, good video, lyrically. A lot of Justin Hayward's songs in this era were very good about the lyrical content really going somewhere and taking you along with it and never becoming tiresome. Like just decent storytelling, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then the next song, track number 2 on this playlist, is the 4th song on the album, I Just Don't Care, which is a song nobody ever talks about ever. It's a straightforward ballad by Justin Hayward. A very, very good song. It's got one of those totally Justin fuzz guitar solos with some harmony in it, so it almost sounds like Brian May guitar orchestration. Just a really beautiful song, very simple, really good arrangement. Patrick Moraz, as it sounds like he's really well integrated into the band at this point. His playing is really important to the arrangement. There's even some like kind of Wurlitzer sounding organ towards the end that's just really distinctive and really cool. Great song. Nobody ever talks about it. They should. It has the kind of Justin Hayward vocal thing that he does where it's not, Justin Hayward doesn't really have a vibrato. He's got like a nervous vibrato, and so when he goes up into the higher range, his voice sounds a little bit vulnerable, and this song has that, and I really, really like that. By the way, when I get through the three songs I've picked from this album, I'll tell you about some of the others and my opinions and why I decided not to choose them. And then the third song on the playlist is the last one I'm going to pick from this album, and that's It May Be a Fire. Very, very good John Lodge song. Really cool arrangement, great melody. It's very sophisticated arrangement with counter melodies, and just a beautiful track, and one of my favorite Moody Blues songs. Now we will get to it further in the playlist, where I'm gonna mention about how I feel like this was really the beginning of the end of the really good John Lodge songs. I mean, if you think about Long Distance Voyager and, songs like Talking in a Turn and Nervous, just some really fantastic songs, you're going to get a couple, and then that's going to stop. And so it doesn't stop with It May Be a Fire, but it's going to stop. Some of the other songs on here, Talkin', I don't even know what that is supposed to be. It's a Hayward Lodge song. It's just this outrageously, for the time, kind of techno-y kind of beat song. Very, very strange. I mean, when I listen to this playlist and I hear the transition between Your Wildest Dreams and I Just Don't Care, it's just like, oh, that sounds really nice. But the transition between Your Wildest Dreams and Talkin' is just ridiculous. And it's called Talkin'. It's kind of really all I have to say. Rock and Roll Over You is the third track on this album. It's a John Lodge song. It's not terrible. I don't hate it. It sounds a lot like, to me, it sounds a lot like, I'm just a singer in a rock and roll band. But, I just sort of have a little trouble with a song called Rock and Roll Over You. I just think it's kind of silly. Running Out of Love is a Hayward Lodge song. I think a pretty bad song. Just very terrible drum programming, in my opinion. The Other Side of Life, pretty good song. Not much to the melody there. A lot of people really like that song. The Spirit, a Graham Edge song, pretty decent. Slings and Arrows, kind of a throwaway. So, these are albums of high highs and some mediocrity and then some low lows. So we're going to move on now to Sur La Mer, let me make sure I have this right, 1988, also produced by Tony Visconti. This album has, I'm going to pick 4 songs from this album. It has even higher highs than The Other Side of Life does, but it has even lower lows. So one of the things about this album that was very interesting is that I'm going to make sure that I have this right. I'm going to look in the booklet here. It actually gives a personnel list of who plays on the album, and it's Hayward, Lodge, Edge, Moraz, and Tony Visconti programming. And then there is also somewhere in here there's a list that says the Moody Blues are, and then then Ray Thomas gets added to it. So we learned the Moody Blues are Justin Hayward, John Lodge, Graham Edge, Ray Thomas, and Patrick Moraz. We didn't know what that meant back then. I, at the time, speculated that maybe Ray Thomas didn't really like what was happening with the band. It didn't submit anything, or maybe he submitted things and they got cut. Turns out that he was suffering from some kind of illness or some kind of physical setback. I don't want to go into that because I've read that from different sources and I don't really know what it was. But at the time, we were just like, well, that seems weird. But moving along, fourth track on the playlist is I Know You're Out There Somewhere. Now, I don't like this one as much as Your Wildest Dreams, but it's pretty strong. It's way too long. I want to say it's 6:40 or something like that. Goes on way too long. This song, if you compare it to Your Wildest Dreams, this one actually does have a little bit of a, come on, let's go with this. This has been going on for a long time. It has a kind of a, I don't know if it's a bridge. It has this kind of this break in the middle that it's just kind of the drum beat, and there's just sort of these little fleeting keyboard sounds. And he keeps repeating, "I know you're out there somewhere. I know I'll find you somewhere." It's kind of cool in kind of a minimalist way, but it makes the song go on way too long. But I'm going to pick it anyway. It was a big single, and I think it's a decent song. Now, the next one I'm going to pick is track number 4 on the Sur La Mer album. It's the 5th song on the playlist, and it's "No More Lies," which I think is the best single out of everything that was released as a single. Really great Justin Hayward song. Really good video. I don't know if you've ever seen this video, but the video has the thing that was really popular at this time, which is taking text and putting it over, like animated text that moves, and putting it over the video to go along with some of the lyrics. But it works. It's extremely dated, but it works. I really like this song. I really like the false ending with the key change at the end. I think that's really cool. It's cheesy, but there's something about it that I kind of like. I used to refer to it as a Barry Manilowism. Whereas, you think of a big Barry Manilow song like "Looks like We've Made It" or something like that, where it just kind of stops and there's like a overly simplified drum fill, and then a key change followed by it. And "No More Lies" does that. And the next song I'm going to talk about that does that too. And the next song I'm going to talk about is "Love Is on the Run," which is by a John Lodge song. I think this is a really charming song. The best thing about this song is the false ending, and then the very abrupt key change, and it's so it's very cheesy, but for some reason I just adore it. It almost sounds like the end of a television show, like in the 70s, where the announcer comes in and says, "Love Is on the Run is brought to you by American Express." It's so cheesy that it feels like it's from a TV show, like a variety show. But for whatever reason, I give him credit for that, because it's kind of sweet the way it ends. This is the end for me with John Lodge. I think that his songs become by the numbers ballads. You know me, I'm a lover of ballads, and in fact most of the songs on this playlist are ballads. But I don't think that he gets I think that he gets worse at it. I think that his ballads are more drawn out and kind of dour sounding after this, and so I'm not a big fan of what John Lodge contributes to the band after this point. So we're all like Hayward from this point on, except for I think there's one that's a Hayward Lodge combination. The other songs on this, there's some decent ones. River of Endless Love is okay. Want to Be With You is okay. Both of those are Hayward Lodge compositions. Here Comes the Weekend, which is a Lodge song, which is as bad as it sounds. Absolutely terrible. Vintage Wine is okay. Breaking Point is okay. Miracle is okay. But you know what? I almost left one off. The 7th song on the playlist is the last track on this album. It's called Deep. Deep is got kind of a hypnotic, kind of a drum machine beat to it. It sounds to me very much like this would have been, like the year after that. It sounds like they were trying to do something similar to what Genesis did with Tonight, Tonight, Tonight. It has a lot of the same kind of spacey, sound effecty kind of keyboard, sound effecty kind of keyboards in it. And there's even a synth solo in it that sounds very Tony Banksian. I think that's what they were trying to do with this song. This is a Justin Hayward song, and it's called Deep, and it's got almost kind of a seductive kind of a feel to it. And I can remember hearing it and thinking, when he says, "I want to go deep," is he really talking about what I think he's talking about? And I think he may have been. But it's a very effective song, and it has what I think is the best and this is saying a lot, I know. It has what I think is the best Justin Hayward guitar solo. There's actually two of them. The last 2.5 minutes of the song is this really big, epic guitar solo, and there's a break in it, and that's where the little Banksian keyboard solo is, and then the guitar solo picks back up again and continues to the fade out. Deep is a really good song. Deep is your homework. If you've never heard this song, or you dismissed the album, or maybe you have the album and you played it back in the day and haven't heard it for a while, listen to Deep. 6 minutes, 50 seconds long. A really good track. And then put in the comments what you think about it. I really like that song. So we're moving on to Keys of the Kingdom. Sorry about that. And this is an album that came out in 1991. It is produced almost half of it's produced by Tony Visconti. 3 songs produced by Christopher Neal and 3 songs produced by Alan Tarney. I really welcomed this album because it had some things on it that were not produced by Tony Visconti. The things on this album that were produced by Tony Visconti, you can tell. For that reason, there's only one of them that I'll pick, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But this is a very the first thing I'm going to talk about, which is the 8th song on the playlist. Second song on this album called "Bless the Wings That Bring You Back." It's a Justin Hayward ballad that is produced by Alan Tarney, and Alan Tarney is the guy that produced the first song on each side of Aha's Hunting High and Low. So he produced Take On Me, and he produced The Sun Always Shines on TV. I think he's a massively talented producer, and so you're going to get something solid out of him. And this track is really good, really beautiful. One of the things I would take off of it is it's got some female vocals on it, which is when you think about the Moody Blues, you think about them as being their own chorus. And so there are some very very average sounding vocals on it that just seems like they're a little out of place, almost more like a Hayward solo song. But a very good song, beautiful string arrangement towards the end. It's always been one of my favorites. Let's see, 1, 2, 7, 8. The 9th song on the playlist, which is the 6th song on this album, and it's called Hope and Pray. It's also by Justin Hayward. And I think this is one of Justin's best songs. It's got, first of all, I'm not sure who played the drums on Bless the Wings. Apparently, from everything that I've read, Graham Edge only plays on 3 songs on this record, which is an improvement over no songs on the 2 previous records. But I think that Hope and Pray is one of the songs that Graham Edge actually plays real drums on, and it's his standard straightforward rock sound over a ballad, which is kind of cool. This song produced by Christopher Neal, most famous for producing Mike and the Mechanics, and was kind of one of the go-to guys from back in the day in the early 90s. And he also produced Marillion's Holidays in Eden. But Hope and Pray is a really nice song. I call it a ballad. It's not really. It's kind of more up-tempo than that. But just a fantastic arrangement, really good song. It's always been one of my favorite Moody Blues songs, and I think that it's probably something that kind of gets overlooked on this album, and I really like it. And then track 9 on this album is the next song I'm going to put on the playlist, and that's Celtic Sonant by Ray Thomas. Now, Ray Thomas has been pretty much missing in action during this whole time, and not only does he come back on the 9th track of Keys of the Kingdom, but he comes back in a big way. Like, it's very much the whole flute chorus kind of a thing, where it's his flute with a lot of effects on it, which is very much a very big part of the Core 7 sound. And I can remember hearing this song and thinking, wow, are we really getting this? Are we really getting a Ray Thomas song that is all 100% basically Ray Thomas and his signature sound? I was very excited about that, and Celtic Sonant is a very, very good song. It starts with spoken word. I mean, it's everything you want from a Ray Thomas song, and it reminds you, fortunately or unfortunately, that if there were 2 or 3 or even 1 Ray Thomas songs peppered throughout these 2 records, how much better these records would be. I mean, they would be much better if they had that other voice. It goes without saying that they would be even better than that if Mike Pinder was still there. But hearing the Ray Thomas song, Celtic Sonant, really makes you think, wow, I really wish that there was more of his input on these records, and I wonder why there wasn't. So that's where we're at. So we're down to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're down to the 11th song in the playlist, and I'm going to pick 4 songs off of this album right here. This is 1999's Strange Times, produced by the band. Not heavily electronically, it doesn't have a lot of electronics on it, save from the first song. It's almost an acoustic-based album. Really solid. I really like this album. The first song I'm going to talk about is English Sunset, opens the album. Almost for the time, whatever would have been considered techno music from the time, from 1999. That's what English Sunset is. It's very much a thump, 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 thump kind of a beat to it. Very, very distinctive Moody Blues style synth riffs in it. A really good song. English Sunset is really, I think it's a highlight of their catalog. I just really think it's great. If you've never heard it, this should be available to pick up cheap. I highly recommend it. The next song on the playlist is going to be the next song on this album, and it's called Haunted. And I think a lot of people don't like this song. It featured in their set lists after this album came out, and in fact, the album that came out after this, which is called Hall of Fame, which is a live album, has this song on it. It's got a very cheesy background vocal thing that's like do-do-do-do-do-do, and the thing I like about that is you can hear Ray in it, which you don't get to hear a lot of Ray. So I think that's a good thing. I think Haunted is great. It's got some kind of spooky little. It's a straightforward ballad, but it's got some spooky little keyboard sounds in it, and really effective track. And the third song I'm going to pick is the third song on this album, and that's Sooner or Later, Walkin' on Air. And I believe that, I didn't put this in my notes, but I believe that this is a Hayward Lodge song. And one of the things I like about it, again, another light song. I wouldn't call it it's not a ballad, but it's pretty light acoustic-based song. One of the things I like about it is that John Lodge, Ray Thomas, and Justin Hayward trade lines in the verses. And so it gives you a little bit of a feel. I mean, basically what happens with these albums is that in this era is that the songs are Justin John, Justin John, Justin John, and that's okay when you get to the beginning, but once you get towards the end, where in my opinion I don't think that John Lodge is really pulling his weight, it's like Justin John, Justin John, and so that's kind of the feeling you get. So to have a little bit of a Ray Thomas thrown in there kind of really helps. And so that's why I picked Sooner or Later, Walkin' on Air as the third song that I picked from this album. And the fourth one that I picked from this album for the playlist is All That Is Real Is You, which is basically an acoustic ballad with just Justin and some very sparse arrangement with some drums in there. And very much like Running Water, the song off of The Present, which is one of my favorites. Again, the very vulnerable, uneven kind of sound where Justin sings at the top of his range, and he sounds a little bit vulnerable, like a little fragile, and that's one of the things that I think that he does very well, and for that reason, I really like that song. And that brings us to the last track. This is track number 15 on this playlist. And it's December Snow from this record right here. I only picked one song from this album. This is 2003. This is the last thing they ever did. When this album came out in the press, one of the things that Justin was quoted as saying was, "I think that's it for us. People tend to want DVD product from us and not new albums." And so that's what we're going to do. This is a very common thread from 2000, from this time, the early 2000s, up until about 2010, 2011, 2012, where bands were thinking that maybe we're in the post-album era. This is when the peak of when people were downloading things on iTunes and not thinking about, people having this whole I could do a whole show on this, people having this whole, oh, I don't like to have to pay for filler, I only want the good songs, which I think is ridiculous. That's how are you ever going to discover anything new if that's your mindset? But that was a really popular thing for people to say. I remember Ed from Bare Naked Ladies saying that 6 or 7 years after this, saying, I think we're only going to make singles and we're not going to make albums anymore. And I wanted to say, tell your manager that and see how he feels about there being nothing on the merch table to sell. But this record, it's a holiday themed record. There isn't I don't think there's anything weak on it. There is even a song called Don't Need a Reindeer, which you would think would be terrible, and it's actually not. But I picked December Snow. I think December Snow is a really top-notch Justin Hayward song. I was so enamored with this track, and I was so precious about it that I would actually take this album out of my iTunes after December so that I wouldn't hear it. I was like, I like this song so much, and since I heard it in December, I'm going to make sure I only listen to it in December, which I know is kind of silly. But this is a really beautiful song, and a great arrangement. It's got some strings in it, the keyboard songs in it. The keyboard, I'm not sure December Snow does have strings in it, but I know it's got some keyboard orchestration in it. That is probably the closest that you get post-Pinder era to something sounding like, it's not Mellotron, but it's reminiscent of the way a Moody Blues song should sound. And that's December Snow. If you just went, I don't need to hear that, it's a Christmas album, you do. And you should. And one of the things I also wanted to mention about this is that, so anyway, I should say that's the end of the playlist. It ends with December Snow. It ends with basically something from the last project that they ever committed to tape. And one of the things I should mention is that the songs that come from this album right here, if you're streaming and you want to make this playlist, you may have a little bit of trouble because the last I checked, this was not on streaming services. But if you've got a MP3s on your computer or Flax or whatever, then you shouldn't have any problem putting the playlist together. And even if you can't, if you want to just skip that one and do the other songs, let me know what you think. I think that this is a good way to show people who might have the opinion of, they didn't do anything good past Core 7, or they didn't do anything good past... a lot of people say they didn't do anything good past Long Distance Voyager and completely dismiss the present, which I think is a mistake. But if that's what you think of these albums right here, I encourage you to make this playlist and check it out and let me know what your opinions are. And I appreciate you sticking with me for this long to talk about something which I admit that maybe I'm the only person that wants to talk about. But thank you, and we'll see you next time.